Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Night Shadow Industries. Today I'm finally getting around to doing a new video on my channel. This one's going to be another review video. This one I recently got during Christmas, during the Boxing Day sort of sales and that. So I've only recently just got time to make this video and to send it out to you guys now. Right now I'm going to do a review on the Black Series Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi lightsaber from Hasbro. As you've seen in my previous videos and previous reviews, I have done reviews on both the Kylo Ren lightsaber and the Luke A New Hope lightsaber. Originally, I actually wanted to get this hilt first. It was the first hilt I ever saw when I was a kid, and overall it was always my all-time favorite hilt to have. Especially growing up, I always sort of had this hilt, like this lightsaber as a kid. Never a Black Series one. It was always just either the toy flick out ones or the light up ones, but that was about it. What I like about this, there's a lot of things I do love about this saber. From more or less from here down, I absolutely adore the look. The control box is beautiful. The lights do not light up on this one, so that's one thing. The activation switch, personally, I think is very cool. It's on the side here. It actually isn't like the Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker A New Hope hilt. You don't flick this up, you just push that up and then that'll activate the blade. A lot of people have said that they do not like the fat neck. Personally, I like it. I don't mind it compared to a lot of other ones, because I have used this on occasion to swing around and spin. That was before I recently got my my stunt saber. But when I did use this, I liked it because you were able to get a decent grip and actually hold it fairly well. I adore this. I really do. I adore this lightsaber. It runs off of 3 AAA batteries instead of the normal 3 AA's. I will quickly, before I turn it on, because I want to turn off the lights, everything like that, so you guys can see. But what I find interesting is the overall. So I'll unscrew the pommel and then I will explain. It's different. As you guys can tell, this version of like the battery compartment and speaker is very different compared to both the Kylo Ren and the Luke Skywalker. The fact of it being personally smaller and having a new it's like a protector case. If you guys can't see, this piece here comes off. You unscrew this little bit here and then this whole sort of guard will slide off, and that's how you can put your batteries in, and then slide the guard back on, screw the thing back shut, then slide this back in. It's a couple more steps, and personally a lot of people have, like, personally I don't mind it, because I will say the AAA's in this thing last a little bit longer than the AA's do. But at the same time, I find it a slight hassle that you have to put this on. I don't plan on risking, I don't plan to just leave it off. I've had a couple of people just say, why not just leave it off? Personally, I wouldn't, because if you do not have this, if you guys can see, the little tabs at the top sort of keep it in place inside here, because if you guys can see, on the inside it's a lot thicker than what this piece here is, so it dangles a lot. And sorry about the music out there. Family enjoys watching Walking Dead a lot. Yeah, all you have to do is just like the others, Once you've done it, you'll see this light up slightly to know that batteries work and everything. Another thing that's cool about this is that the bottom here is metal, and that is because the pommel is completely hollow. I don't know why they decided to do that, but I don't mind. Personally, it does make a crisper sound compared to the other two because both of them are being covered up by the pommel, and all they have is a few vents to sort of let it through, whereas this is basically, the speaker is coming straight through, so it does, I believe it does help. But screw this back on, and once you do, it'll instantly lock straight to the position that it's meant to, which is directly along here. Personally, about that, I've never been a fan. Like a lot of Saber customizers, Saber fans, everything like that, they all prefer, if they're collecting the hero hilt, they prefer this being here. Personally, I've never been a fan of it because in most of the Return of the Jedi films that I've seen, everything like that, even in Last Jedi, you notice that Luke seems to unhook it from his belt from the side. So instead of it being here, it would most likely sit here. If it were to sit anywhere, it would sit here, and that's where you would hook your lightsaber on. But I know a lot of Saber customizers and that have done it here, and I know the hilt that he actually used in Return of the Jedi, not the hilt, but the Alec Guinness version, it did have it on the side, and that was for, you know, the other shots. But I personally prefer, if you're going to do it, I would prefer it to sit on the side. But don't get me wrong, if you're planning on just sitting it on a stand and everything, this is, you know, it looks great. If it is on this side, if you've got it facing that way, you'd never be able to see it, so there are sort of a, you know, give and take on having it on the side. But personally, I just like it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights, and I also have the other two sabers here to compare both light and sound. So I will be back in just a moment. Okay, so all the lights are off. It's relatively dark in my room. It's fairly late, but it's still light out at the moment, daylight savings. But it should be able to see it quite well. Now, the light is absolutely beautiful. I adore this, and it's funny because my stunt hilt puts out probably the same amount of light as this one does, and that being a 1 LED, which was kind of funny when I saw it, because it was the fact that this is a string LED, and yet the 1 LED can do the exact same, which is what I prefer. If you guys can't already tell, it is the same sound font as the Luke A New Hope saber and the Darth Vader saber. Personally, I have found that to be a slight flaw in the in this version, because anyone who knows Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, when you ever heard him activate it and turn it off, it was a more powerful activation. You can always tell but it was very different compared to the classic A New Hope lightsaber. And to have this sort of, you know, this sound, I still don't mind, but at the same time I would prefer to have that sound font on here. But again, this is just a Hasbro lightsaber, so granted, you would expect to sort of get that sort of sound font and that from a custom lightsaber that, you know, would cost you a lot. But yeah, so overall, I don't mind it. I'm just going to quickly grab Luke's blue one. So, as you can tell, it's the exact same activation, so everything's the same. It's all the same. But I will say, I do like the light on this one. Personally, I think it's brighter than the blue. I feel like it's brighter than the blue. If you put it next to Kylo Ren's, because red being a darker sort of color, this thing is crazy bright. So I'll just grab Kylo's. And yeah, you can tell straight off the bat that this is a whole lot more brighter than Kylo's. But yeah, it's I will say as well that it's upsetting that they took the time to sort of put a good sound onto Kylo Ren's, and they didn't bother with both, you know, Darth Vader's and Luke's. So I will say it's more of a nitpick thing. Like, overall, this is a great lightsaber, and surprisingly enough, quite light. It's very light compared to the other two. I would say Luke's is a bit heavier than this one, and Kylo's being significantly heavier because it being just naturally a very heavy hilt. But yeah, overall, it is a great lightsaber. I'm so glad to have this in my collection again. This originally was the lightsaber I wanted to get for my first, for my collection, my first one. But yeah, I did decide to go with the Graflex only because I like the story as to how it was created. But if I had to choose, I would always choose the green one, Luke's Hero Hilt, because the first Star Wars I ever watched was Episode 6, and the first scene I ever got to see was Luke and Darth Vader fighting right as, you know, he was pissed off. And yeah, I fell in love with the lightsaber. But yeah, overall, it's a great lightsaber. I'm just going to quickly turn on the lights. Okay, yeah. So overall, I do believe that this is a great lightsaber. I absolutely adore it, and I'm really glad to have it in my collection. But yeah, there are a lot of nitpicky things about it, but overall it's still a great lightsaber. But yeah, it's just something that you've sort of, you know, you can either nitpick and say, I don't like it, I don't want to get it, or you say, you know, I enjoy the lightsaber still and get it anyway, which personally I was happy to get it one way or another. So yeah. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, and if you want to see more, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and it really helps knowing that you guys actually like my videos and want to see more of my videos. But yeah, hoping you guys are all well, and I see you guys in the next video.